Let's connect with the management of Fortis. Dr. Ashutosh Raghuvanshi, Managing Director and CEO of Fortis Healthcare, joins us now. Fortis clearly is in the middle of restructuring because a few days ago they acquired an asset. Now they're looking at divesting assets. So they're really cleaning up what could be called as the excesses and adding up capacity where scale and benefits could kick in. So Dr. Raghuvanshi, looks like this is in line with what you'd indicated. Get rid of excess fat and add muscle. You've added capacity and you are selling assets which are not making money. Walk us through that. Why are you looking at divesting a 110 bed capacity of the Arcot unit?
Good morning, Nikunj. Thanks for having me. This facility wasn't performing up to our expectations, and then also, as we have said repeatedly, that the ongoing divestment is just part of the portfolio rationalization strategy. We want to deepen our presence in the clusters where we are strong and we have a sizable presence. At the same time, we do not want to persist with projects which are not performing too well. So it is essentially in line with what we have been saying, and that's why we are enhancing capacity in the NCR cluster and many other clusters. But we decided that this was the right time for us to move, and somebody else could do better with this asset.
So is this again in clear endorsement of what you said, that you would not have a significant presence outside the NCR region and maybe certain western parts of India, but you will not be present in east and south because this facility is in Chennai?
Yes, so it is specific to Chennai cluster because we had only 2 units there and both were performing suboptimally. However, Bangalore remains a focused cluster. We already have 5 units over there. We would look to deepen our presence there further. Calcutta and Punjab are 2 other clusters other than the 2 you mentioned, Western India and the NCR cluster itself.
Any other such loss-making facilities or units which you've identified which sooner than later you could be exiting out of?
So we continuously keep on reviewing our portfolio. There are certain units, as I said, which have not been performing too well. The second unit in Chennai has also not been performing well. So we will evaluate the right options at the right time.
But sir, how many plans are going to be there in FY24 and FY25? Because what it would actually do is that it will change. It will, if you are able to exit some of these loss-making units, your aggregate picture will change completely.
Yeah, so these 2 units essentially are the ones which we are immediately looking at. The others, we have a couple of other units which have been performing subpar, 3 more units to be precise. And those units, we are doing operational changes. We are adding new service lines, etc. And we are pretty hopeful that those would be turned around over the next 1.5 years or so. So I think this is where we would stop, and we would rather focus now on brownfield expansion and then opportunistically looking for further acquisitions as well.
So how many beds you will have by end of 24 because of acquisition and because of divestment? What would be that number for FY24?
We would be around 4,800 beds, and which will go to 5,400 by 25.
We had the management of NH Healthcare, Mr. Shetty, on the channel a few days ago. We also had some of your other peers from Apollo Hospital on the channel. All of them are now looking at creating massive capacity. And the industry is looking at creating a massive capacity at a time when the total occupancy rate is anywhere between 55 to 65%. So don't you fear that 2 years, 3 years down the line, there would be massive capacity addition which will take place, because hospitals are expanding at a time when the capacity is not even closer to 80%. It's at 55 to 65%, everybody is expanding.
Yes, so 75%, Nikunj, is an ideal capacity occupancy level of a hospital. Beyond that, the operations become inefficient, and it causes inconvenience to the patients coming in and going out of the hospital. So that is the optimal level at which all hospitals want to reach. Currently, there is a lot of shortage in many markets of beds. And with the increasing penetration of insurance, which has been adding quite fast in the especially post-pandemic, we expect that the capacity utilization will become better. Other than that, what is also happening parallelly is that the rationalization of some of the scheme prices have started happening. We have recently seen upward revision in some of the CGHS rates, and we have been told that the rest of the rates of CGHS are also being revised. So with that, I think that will also become an attractive segment for hospitals to serve. And that is where the capacity utilization will happen.
Okay. Morning, I wanted to also understand the update on the transaction for the Meteor Hospital in terms of how margin accretive that is expected to be and what the overall timeline is. Has it now been completed?
So we expect to conclude that transaction also by end of July. And similarly, we expect to close the Arcot Road also by end of July. Manesar facility will, in Meteor facility will require refurbishment. It will take us about 8 to 9 months to get it operational. Once it is operational, we will initially operationalize 200 beds. And we expect this market, since we are present here and we understand this market well, and it will also be synergistic to our other facilities. So in Gurgaon micro market, this should mature much faster than a traditional greenfield hospital. But for all practical purposes, this hospital should be looked as a greenfield hospital. So we expect it to take about a year or so after operationalizing to turn cash positive.
Dr. Raghuvanshi, everybody is waiting, and the wait continues on the next update on the legal front.
Yes, so legally, we strongly believe, and that is the legal advice we have received from some of the great luminaries in legal field, that there is no overhang of the Supreme Court case which was there. There is no embargo on any further corporate actions. So we are planning what corporate actions need to be taken, and we have started initiating those. It is an early stage of planning, so I cannot really comment on what specific actions we are going to take, but we are at a threshold of starting some of those actions.
Raghuvanshi, are you hinting at the SRL IPO? Is that the corporate action?
SRL has had performed subpar compared to the competitors in past few years. Currently, we are focusing on improving the operational efficiency of the company. Any other actions would be taken at the right time. As of now, we haven't taken any concrete steps in that direction. But as and when we do decide, the board takes those decisions, we will certainly be informing you.
My final question, Dr. Raghuvanshi, is that this is a feeler which I get when I speak to investors, funds which own your stock and brokerages which track your stock, which is that the legal case is an overhang and it is not business as usual for Fortis. Is that true, sir? That if the open offer goes through, then only it will be business as usual. Right now, there is a bit of a deterrent here. Fortis is doing all the hard work, but guess what? Their one leg and hand is tied.
There is definitely a perception problem here. And we need to overcome that. There is no denying of that. There is a confusion sometimes as to what the Supreme Court judgment actually meant. But for all practical purposes, I don't think we are constrained, and you would see a good growth coming in the future.
So you're running with you're running with on two legs. And if the open offer would have hypothetically gone through also, this really would have been the normal business progress. So it is business as usual for Fortis, right?
Yeah, we're running with two legs, but certainly there are some headwinds.
Okay. Appreciate your time, sir. You've always been very honest and really, thankful for your time.
Thank you so much.